the 23-minute 911 phone call released by police from 2010, we hear Shannon Gilbert go from scared for her life to confused.
Why are you calling me by my name?
What's the matter? Are you okay?
What are you going to do? What are you going to do to me?
Let's go back to Manhattan.
Police say that's the voice of Michael Pack, Gilbert's bodyguard. Police say Pack drove Gilbert to the home of Joseph Brewer in Ocean Beach. Brewer had hired Gilbert, who was a sex worker.
Please, can you shut the door?
No, time to go.
Please, something's going to happen to me.
There's nobody outside. You're okay, right?
After that, Gilbert runs out of the house. She starts knocking on people's doors. Those people call 911 too.
43 the Bayou. Some woman is knocking at my door. She says she's in danger.
The last thing we hear on the call is Gilbert running again. Police say they believe Gilbert ran into this marsh in Gilgo, which would have looked like this at the time that night. They believe that's where Gilbert died. Police do not believe Gilbert's death is related to the murders of other sex workers whose remains were later found in Gilgo.
In this case, she's found on the south side of the parkway. In all the other cases, they're found on the north side of the parkway. In this case, our victim called 911. None of the other cases resulted in 911 calls. She's found with her identification with her. She's found with money.
Commissioner Rodney Harrison has put together a task force to solve one of Long Island's most notorious criminal cases. The FBI, state police, and local law enforcement will now meet daily to investigate. In 2010 and 11, remains of 11 young women and teenagers were found along Ocean Parkway.
A suspect is in custody in the so-called Gilgo Beach murders. 11 sets of human remains have been found along a stretch of highway in the area after police began searching for a missing 24-year-old in 2010.
Identified as Rex Heuermann, law enforcement on the grounds of his home in Massapequa Park area, swarming that area throughout the day. The DA's office describing it as a significant development in the case. And it's coming just over a year after we saw this multi-agency task force form to, quote, reinvigorate the investigation into a case that has confounded Long Island police. And as you mentioned, a string of bodies found along Suffolk County, human remains belonging to 11 different people. For those in the area, they'll remember the sweeping search efforts, as you're seeing through that beachy brush for a long period of time. Those stunning discoveries really coming after police began searching for 24-year-old sex worker Shannon Gilbert back in 2010.
We've been here for about 30 years, and the guy's been quiet, never really bothers anybody. You were kind of shocked, to tell you the truth. The guy, he keeps to himself. He pretty much keeps to himself, and we'd say hello to each other once in a while, and that was it. You know, morning pleasantries.
You said you'd like to do this outside, but Mother Nature is not cooperating today.
Yeah, to say the least, I tell you that. Being in your office, all right?
I wasn't looking forward to doing this under a scaffold.
I can understand. Okay, anyway, let's dive in. So, tell us, who you are, where you're from, and how long you've been in New York.
Okay. Rex Heuermann, I'm an architect, I'm an architectural consultant, I'm a troubleshooter, born and raised on Long Island.
Okay.
Been working in Manhattan since 1987. Do troubleshooting, architectural troubleshooting, and negotiations with the building department.
Okay.
What I mean by that is, do we do the standard stuff with the building department, handle your filings? I have other clients who are a lot of other architects. And we'll handle their interactions with the building department, especially out-of-city architects, because they're a little afraid of the city. And
Tough city.
when a job that should have been routine suddenly becomes not routine, I get the phone call.
Gotcha.
Whether it's an old building and they need somebody that understands and can maneuver the 1938 building code, or the current building code. You look surprised when I say 1938 building code.
Building,
I've actually used the 1901 old tenement laws here in the city of New York, and you can legally do so.
So what decided you to launch that particular, I would say, a niche of a business?
Actually, it was Harvey's fault.
Of who?
In 1987, when I came to work in the city, the first architect I worked for was Harvey Rothenberg.
Okay.
Great man. That year, a new law came out. Local Law 58 of 87.
Okay.
That's all the handicap access.
Okay.
They said, you're the new guy, you read it. So, I read it.
You read it.
There was a situation dealing with the city. They said, well, go meet with the city. I did. I was effective at it. He said, go do it again.
Okay.
And he did a lot of work with not-for-profit agencies for developmentally disabled. So that's where I started doing a lot of my building code consultant with him, as well as the design and drawings for these facilities. Was a recession in the early 90s. And we're all trying to figure out who to work for. And that's when I met my very, very first paying client, Robert Meyer. I was dealing with the clerk at the certificate of occupancy counter. Didn't know what he was doing. I'm getting impatient. I go, excuse me, took his paperwork, explained to the clerk what he needed, then explained to him what he needed to do, then move over. Then I took care of what I needed to do.
What do you think is the most important qualities a person in your position dealing with the DOB must have?
Patience, and I don't like to use the word tolerance, but sometimes you have to. And it's not just with the city, it's also with the client. Because most clients, they don't understand what I have to do, why I have to do it, what it takes to get done. And when you're dealing with somebody in the city, whether it be a clerk at the counter who has to enter data entry, or if I'm dealing with the borough commissioner of Manhattan, you need the patience, because who knows what the person before you did. Sometimes they have very bad days. I've actually gone to the commissioner's office, sat down in his waiting area at 11:30 in the morning, and a little after 5 o'clock, I heard him finally holler out, "Is Rex still there?" That's how long I waited.
Oh, God. All right, my last question. If you were a tool or an object to help you to bring your business to greater heights, what would it be?
That's an interesting question.
I know.
Because for what I do, we have to have so many tools in the toolbox.
Just one.
Just one.
Just one. So?
I have one tool that's pretty much used in almost every job. And it's actually a cabinet maker's hammer.
A cabinet maker hammer. Okay.
It is persuasive enough when I need to persuade something.
Not someone.
Something. And it always yields excellent results. And at the end of the project, whatever piece of furniture or what I'm working on, it always helps it come out beautifully.